Green Man! 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 Holy YouTube video, Green Man!
Okay, it's counting comics time. It's Wednesday here on the Grey Man channel. We're going to count some more comics for you. I'm wearing the same shirt as last week because I've actually recorded this ages ago. I'm going to get in advance now. Anyway, I don't wear this t-shirt all the time. Right, yeah, so here's another little short box from my little stack of short boxes that I've got upstairs next to my wardrobe. Let's delve inside and see what we have. Right, starting off, we have a little four-parter. Inferno. Inferno. You can see I'm stalling for time. Wasn't she one of the Legion of Superheroes out in the future? God, I don't know, actually, because I'm sure I remember this being based in modern days, current times. Anyway, the book came out in '98. Yeah, she's definitely a Legion of Superheroes. Look, you can tell from her belt there, she has the old Legion markings on her belt. Can't see a flight ring on her finger, which was another thing that the the Legion can be identified by. I've got a feeling she might be a time-displaced Legion of Superheroes person. Inferno. Okay, got a Garth Ennis War Stories here. Now this was a little sequence, is that the right word? He did a few of these basically, and I meant to pick up the whole lot, but I only ever got this one. I'll have to maybe think about that, maybe put that on my to-buy list. I don't think they're going for super money or anything, so yeah, it might be well worth checking out. J for Jenny, drawing on, a painting on the side of an old airplane. Yeah, they did a lot of those, didn't they? Quite popular back in the day. Yeah. Right, Lab Rats. The Experiment Begins. John Byrne, yeah, I thought it was. I actually recognised some art, somebody's art for once, before I even saw it said John Byrne on the bottom there. Right, yeah, I'm not surprised actually. I don't normally recognise him. I'm not even sure this one is him, looking at that signature there. But that one there, I looked at it and I thought John Byrne for some reason. Is that his signature? Or am I reading? Yeah, I think no, that is just say John Byrne, doesn't it? Yeah, just it's got a very strange signature. Yeah, so yeah, John Byrne. Woohoo! I recognised it. Right, Lab Rats. I was thinking it had something to do with the Cyber Rats, maybe, who were you sort of introduced in the Bloodlines, and one of them got bitten by one of the aliens and got given superpowers. Became Splice, I think her name was. But yeah, this is from 2002. So I can't really remember this very well. Looks like maybe it was an ongoing, or was it just supposed to be an 8-parter? There's 8 parts here anyway, so I'm assuming that's as far as it got, unless I happen to have another one somewhere. The experiment is over. No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like a fatalistic ending there for the Lab Rats. Okay, here's a nice little run. Blue Devil, first issue collector's item, probably worth all of $3 or something. That's a pretty good nick though, I've got to say. It's not in bad nick, considering, yeah, I don't sort of bag them all individually, but sort of bung them all in one big envelope. Or one big plastic, whatever you call them. I still don't know what these are called. Bags, just bags, aren't they? Yeah, just bung them all in a big bag. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so Blue Beetle was a pretty cool character. This was his debut book. He's kind of underutilised, really. Don't see a great deal of him. He was in Shadow Pact, I think, was his next long exposure to readers. Was in Shadow Pact a good long time after this. This is from the early mid '80s, '84. So yeah, started off in 1984. What a good old book now. I didn't actually collect these at the time that they came out, to be honest. These are one of the ones when I started doing eBaying. I was selling all my old British comic books. Kind of wish I didn't, but never mind. I did. I had to. I done it. Don't bloody well have seller's regret now. All these years later, and all my old metal magazines I was selling as well. I had tons of metal magazines, and I sold all those as well. But yeah, you know. Done now. No point screaming about it and crying about it. Yeah, so while I was doing that, I was spending everything that I made on new comics, or new for me anyway. A little guest star in Etrigan the Demon with a shocking villain. That's a comic worth revisiting. It's got Etrigan in it. Oh, there he is. Poking out from the corner of the comic book there. Yeah, so Blue Devil. Yeah, not sure what he's doing nowadays in the comic books. If he never. That's the thing. He was in Shadow Pact, but he never made it to the big leagues of Justice League Dark, did he? At least I don't think he has yet. Anyway, kind of a shame. I think a lot of those Justice League Dark characters never actually. Sorry, those Shadow Pact characters never made it into the Justice League Dark. It's almost as if they were like, you know, thinking of the idea. And there was another book that someone showed us on one of their channels the other day. I think it was C. Woodard showed it on his channel. He was going for an old box of his books, and it was another team book that was quite kind of short-lived. I think it had about 12 episodes, series issues. I can't even get words right. And it kind of was like a similar kind of thing, precursor, something like Prime Force or something like that. Primal Force, maybe, were they? And they were kind of like magic-y based, like dealing with magic stuff. And then later on, you had Shadow Pact, was like a slightly bigger name version of you know, the characters from that book. I don't think any of the characters in that book are still going. I think they were like created for that, but I can't remember now. It will come up when I get to it in my books, my boxes. Because I do have that. I can't remember the name of it now. Prime Force, was it? Something like that. I know there was a Night Force as well, which are also kind of similar, but there's more to do with Baron Winters, and he was getting together like normally non-powered individuals, maybe a psychic or two, to sort of deal with supernatural events kind of thing. I kind of like that kind of style though. I like that. But Baron Winters should be used more, but of course Constantine is the favourite, and he's the one that gets used in everything when it comes to that. But when I like to see some of these lesser known investigators of the macabre and weird, like when I went for my horror books I was doing for Halloween, there was that Johnny Peril. Johnny Peril, even that name is good. I like the name Dr. Occult as well. I think Dr. Occult should be featuring more highly. Yeah, I think I'd trust the Dr. Occult more than I would have John Constantine. Yeah, you know, just the fact he's a doctor, you know, you've got to trust the doctor, ain't you? I mean, John Constantine's not a doctor, he's not a professor, he's just some bloke called John. Yeah, I wouldn't trust him. I'd probably be right not to. Right, so that's the double-sized issue 30. And then this is 31, the super giant size final issue. Tiny little bit of spine roll on the top there. But yeah, they're pretty well kept up books actually. Quite happy with the look of those. I don't think they're worth a bean. Got a Blue Devil Summer Fun annual as well, with lots of cool characters. You've got Creeper, you've got Phantom Stranger, got Etrigan the Demon. Of course, no idea who this person is in the corner here, or the person standing next. Oh, is that Man-Bat there? Got to be Man-Bat in it, or maybe it could be a vampire actually. Who knows? But anyway, that's my Blue Devils. Got another cool cat here. It's Black Lightning. Jefferson Pierce, is it? I think it is. Yeah. Some cool covers. I'm not sure who's doing the art. These are from mid-90s. 95. Pretty cool, explosive stuff. I like the effects that always come off from Black Lightning. The lights and, everything glowing up. It always looks pretty cool. Not too sure how long this run went for, but that is a cool cover. That is very cool. Who is that? Is a signature there? No idea who it is. EN maybe? Someone with the initials EN? 94. But yeah, that's a pretty cool cover. I wonder if that's known. Yeah, if that's one that people like. Right, Gangbuster. Yep, he's cool. Quite like Gangbuster. I've not seen a huge amount of him. I think I saw him in a Superman book once. So he literally fought himself to a standstill. I think Superman was laid low by kryptonite or something like that. And this totally non-powered guy, but just with like bravery, heart, and cojones, as I believe they say in Spain and Mexico. He took on this superpowered dude just with his, his grit and determination, and he was able to hold him off long enough to stop Superman from getting killed. So yeah, it was always like, yeah, I like that kind of character, selfless character who'll put their all, put their heart and soul on the line in the pursuit of good. Right, this seems to be the end of the Black Lightning run. Just a few 13 altogether by the looks of it. More cool lighting effects. Yeah, there's that guy's signature again. It looks like EN, but I don't know. I don't think he's one of those most highly sought after of cover artists. I quite like it though. Quite nice, dark kind of style. The reflections going on this guy's blades look pretty cool. And these are a couple of members of They look like guys from the Milestone universe. I'm not too sure though. Maybe Hardware or something like that. And of course, old Black Lightning himself. And finally, you got to have a bit of Batman thrown into a title that's on its way out. It's just the law. Yeah, but it's obviously too late to save the title. Like this character, he died. Poor thing died, but he kind of died every week because he was Resurrection Man, and dying was kind of his thing. And every time he did die, he came back as a new person. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a little lenticular in the centre there. Oh yeah, you can see just about. Oh yeah, that kind of Demon Etrigan that was looking like. Then there's a skeleton, skull face, normal face, demonic face. Astonishing first issue. Resurrection Man. He's dying to save you. Yeah. I'm not sure if I said, but every time he died, he came back with a new set of powers. So that was quite cool. It was interesting. I'm not sure. I think he might have actually died completely now in the books, but don't quote me on it. I think there was a recent Rebirth title called something like Immortal Men or something like that. I'm wondering if Resurrection Man maybe was in that team. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if it was called Immortal Men now, but he looks like he's fighting a superhero advertised by Soda Cola. He's fighting the Soda Cola Man. It's a bit like Duff Man from Simpsons. Okay, Resurrection Man Unbound. Genesis. Roadkill. I wonder if those are some Apocalyptican like female Furies. I don't know why I thought that. Just looking at them, I thought, oh, they look like maybe female Furies. Completely oblivious to the fact that there's all these power demons around the car. So, but they look like they're fighting the power demons. Or they run them over with their car rather than actually being with them. So maybe they're not female Furies. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Yeah, because I think there's Resurrection Man in the car with them. So they're unlikely to be female Furies then. Gotham DOA, of course. A book's got to have a Batman. Got to have a Batman showing up. Just to try and, get some people on board. Because some people obviously will buy anything that's got Batman in it. And so, yeah. They'll put him in a book to try and get people to stay with the book once they've read that issue. Right, and then he teams up with Hitman, another one of Gotham's heroes, or more villain than hero, really. But yeah, anti-hero. Alright. Hitman, back for more. So I'm guessing just by looking at it that he was being hired to kill Mitchell Shelley, the Resurrection Man. I must say I wouldn't have remembered that name. I couldn't remember his name at all. But yeah, I'm assuming he succeeded but failed at the same time, and then succeeded again and then failed again until obviously they must have come to some kind of compromise. Right, Resurrection Man, Dangerous Curves. Those look like the two ladies who were just shooting up the power demons in that book I was talking about earlier. Shadow of Death. Bit of Supergirl action. Hell Comes to Leesburg. I think Leesburg was where Supergirl or Superwoman was living. So Leesburg, I think this is the Matrix version of Superwoman, Supergirl, who was like an alien kind of protoplasm or something. I liked her character though. I think she was cool. Alright, there we are, number 18. Guest starring Dead Man and the Phantom Stranger. That kind of makes sense. Yeah, when the guy's crossing over the threshold of between life and death so many times, I would not be at all surprised if he bumps into Dead Man and the Phantom Stranger. The Phantom Stranger probably just come along and say, you know, what's going on here, mate? Right, Resurrection Man, 1 million. I think this was the different in the scope of the 1 million titles. The idea was that all the titles that were coming at the time were put in, imagined as if it was like the millionth issue, so it was like way in the future. But I think this was the only one where the same character was in the comic book. In the other comic books, like Superman from 1 million was like a different Superman from way in the future. Same with Batman, a different Batman way in the future. Same with all the characters, apart from this one. I think it was the same Resurrection Man, Mitchell, whatever his name was, not Mitchell Jackson. I know Mitchell Jackson in real life. It's not Mitchell Jackson. Mitchell, whatever his name was. Yeah, it was actually still him, because he was just like living and, you know, just carrying on living basically. Right, a bold new direction for Resurrection Man. Continuing the astounding saga of Resurrection Man. It's a bird, it's a plane, whatever, just kill him. That's them two ladies again. Can't remember what their names are though. I'm guessing they just want to kill him though. They look like they're hit people. Major Force. He's a major butthole, old Major Force, isn't he? Is that them two ladies again have been showing up? I know there's a couple of women hit people called are they called the Body Doubles? Sure, there's a team called the Body Doubles, like a duo of murdering ladies. Women. They're no ladies, they're women. Just drinking my tea there. Right, coming to the end of the Resurrection Man ones. So this ran for just over 2 years. Bad to the Bone. Resurrection Man and the Forgotten Heroes. Well, I recognise the Ray. And yeah, the other ones are forgotten. That might be Loose Cannon. It looks a little bit like Loose Cannon from the Bloodlines. But I don't think it is though. Savagery. Alright, so Resurrection Man, of course, meets another mortal person in Randall Savage. Vandal Savage. Oh, I said Randall Savage then. Vandal Savage. My stomach is rumbling like crazy. I don't know why. I've just eaten some toast. It's making all kinds of growling noises. I hope you're not picking it up on the camera. Okay. Next in the box we have some awesome Spectre from 1987. Is that a little... Yeah, a little scuff there. You don't want a scuff on your book, do you? How annoying. Spectre, that must be Madame Xanadu. I've been reading not all my demons, but most of my demons recently. And yeah, I forgot Madame Xanadu and Jason Blood and even Etrigan had a kind of relationship going on back from the Demon Knights sort of storyline. And then again, the most recent one, Hell is Earth, they met up again. Which is cool because, you know, I think they make a nice couple. It'd be cool to see them, you know, going through time and everything. But I hope the next time they do Demon, they're not going to forget, you know, Glenda Marks, is it? His long-time girlfriend, because, you know, she was cool and, you know, she deserves a bit of happiness too. And also Randu Singh and Harry Matthews. Yeah, we want to see those characters again. Alright, is that Wotan, that guy? There's a Mignola cover. Mignola. Or Mignola, I don't know. I don't know why I say Mignola nowadays with a silent G. I really have no idea if it's meant to have a silent G in it, but just I don't know why it suddenly popped in my head that Mignola was a way to say it. Let's just do it proper East London style. It's Mignola, alright? Mignola. Look, it's got a G in the middle. Bloody Mignola, isn't it? We only drop our H's around here, we don't drop no G's. Apart from in Gnome. Alright, Millennium. Week 8. It's a whole host of beings from other worlds there, isn't it? So, you know, magical, supernatural beings, gentleman ghosts, phantom strangers, Spectre in the background, Dr. Fate, Madame Xanadu, Zatanna, Dead Man, and is that Nightshade, that one there? I always get forget her name. I think she's the one that... Or it could be the Enchantress, actually. That could be an old costume of the Enchantress. Thinking about it. Pretty cool covers. Bingham is that? Bingham, it looks like. There's an annual. Arthur Adams, it looks like the signature there. Dead Man and Spectre flying high over a sea of imaginate souls. Maybe they're approaching the gate of hell or the gate of heaven there. Or maybe just purgatory. Another cool cover there. Sea Vess. A little bit damaged there, I think. A little bit, boy, yeah. There's a nice little advert on the back for the Killing Joke, look. I was a bit upset to find out my Killing Joke that I've got was actually a second printing of the Titan version of the Killing Joke. Not the original DC one, but a Titan reprint. Never mind. I don't think it's worth huge money. Even if it was a first pressing of the DC one, I'm not too sure now. Alright, number 16 of the Spectre. Right, here's another cool advert on the back of this one. V for Vendetta. You know what, I had some of the books, yeah, where this character first showed up. The Warrior books from the UK. And I didn't realise the significance of them. I picked them up, I don't remember where. A collection or something like that. Or maybe I bought a bulk from somebody. I'm not too sure. But I know I had some of these Warrior comics with like the first... V for Vendetta was in there. And who's the other guy? Right, yeah, the other guy, Marvel Man, who became Miracle Man, wasn't it? Originally they were reprints apparently of Captain Marvel. Yeah, and then they had to change it to, once Captain Marvel finished, the British publishers created their own version of who's this Marvel Man. But I've got to admit, I was reading them recently, I managed to sort of read them all, the Alan Moore run on it, and I was reading it, and I was thinking it was, the history was like some kind of meta, like invented backstory for it. I was like, oh yeah, this is funny. Yeah, they're pretending that this character's been around since the 50s or whatever, and it's, you know, they've created this whole origin story for it just to flesh it out and make it sound, you know, realistic. I was thinking, oh yeah, that's so Alan Moore for him to go into such depth. That's just so Alan. But you know, I'm not sure, even now I'm not 100% sure if the history that they said about it is correct, or whether it was just some fascinating story made up to give the book a cooler history than it did. But yeah, no, I kind of think maybe it was real now, because I have seen it posted in a few places. So yeah, the Miracle Man. I'm not sure if I've got those Warrior comics anymore though, or whether I've actually sold them. Because they weren't in this kind of style format, they were like in the bigger book style of the old UK sort of books, and I just thought, oh, this is a book that never got anywhere, and the characters are all going to be rubbish, and I never even read it, to be honest. I think I just like sold it on. I can't remember now, they might turn up in my collection. I don't think they're worth huge amounts of money anyway. They might have appreciated now, and I might be kicking myself, but yeah, I can't remember if I've still got those Warriors or not. Alright. This is coming up towards the end of this run of the Spectre. 30 and 31, that's the last one by the looks of it. But in the same bag, I've got a Secret Origins starring the Spectre and Dead Man from around the same time. This is 89, this one finished, and this Secret Origins came out in 87. Right, and staying with the Spectre, we move on to the absolutely fantastic early 90s run of the Spectre by John Ostrander, with art by the masterful Mandrake himself, Tom Mandrake. This is a glow-in-the-dark cover, absolutely spectacular. I'm pretty sure I used this cover for a gig that I was doing once. I was putting on a gig. I think my band were doing a couple of dates, so I used this picture as like the basis for the background of my gig flyer. And, you know, why not? It's a superb picture. as you know, this Glenn Fabry cover. I would say most of the Mandrake's covers are awesome, but it looks like he's doing more of the interior art. A lot of these seem to be different artists. That first one was a Mandrake. You've got Glenn Fabry. Plunkett, looks like Plunkett's doing this one, The Rise of the Spectre. But this is a really cool run. If you've not read this run, I would recommend it to absolutely everybody and their brother and their sister. This one's got some bloody cover damage. Cover damage. Hate. Yeah. How annoying. Cool cover anyway. Someone called Vess. That might be old whatchamacallit face, mightn't it? But yeah, I can't remember his name anyway, so no point going there. Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was Alex Ross actually. Looking at that, maybe it's not quite photorealistic enough to be one of his. Right, this one again, I believe, is a little glow in the dark feature to it. It's got some rough edges on it, which, yeah, I think they glow in the dark. Actually, if I recall, if you hold this up to the light and turn the light off, you see skeletons. Because the skeleton, the rough area, which is like the luminescence, I suppose, is like bone, like skeletons. So if you turn the light off and it glows, it'll be all skeleton-y figures then, like in the place of the bodies of the people, rather. So that's pretty cool. So now a fairly cool one. The Spectre looking exceedingly spectral in that one. Skeletoid and spectral. And then look at that one. Massive chains. Can't make out the signature there. But those massive, I wonder if it's to do, you know, we've watched the old Christmas Carol. Callion? Something like that? Yeah, watch the old Christmas Carol. The weight of the chains represents the sins in this world. It reminds me of that for some reason. It's like a dead person. Yeah, the chains around his waist, and there's loads of other chains everywhere else. I'm wondering if that's representative of the sins that they've created in their life. Because of course, the Spectre was God's vengeance, particularly in this run. Later on, when Hal took over, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, he became this God's spirit of redemption, didn't he? Rather than the spirit of vengeance. Here's another glowing one. It's got the little rough bits on it, which is like the glow in the dark part. I'm not sure what that looks like when the lights are off. But it looks like he's riding out from hell, maybe. There's some hellish looking things in that picture. They're all just really cool covers. Different artists pretty much on each one of them, seems like. This must be when he was back in biblical times, because being God's vengeance, I think he was the one who visited the plagues on Egypt. So that includes the taking of the firstborn. I think he was more about taking the firstborn than he was about frogs and locusts. Is that Fabry again, maybe? No, Tristan. Tristan, that one. Not a name I'm familiar with. And some Mandrake again. Spectre's skull face there. It's quite a long run actually. I think it's like 75 issues on this one. So it wouldn't surprise me if the whole of the rest of this book is Spectre actually. Really, really cool stories. It's like Superman is facing off against Spectre with the Spear of Destiny. Of course, it's one of the only things that can harm him. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Because back in the wartime, it was the Spear of Destiny that Hitler used to keep the superpowered characters from, stopping his war. Yep. I've said it before in my videos, if you can ever ride on the back of a T-Rex, then make sure you do. And if it happens to be a flaming T-Rex that like growing out of a nuclear explosion, towering over a city, then definitely do that, because that just looks badass. Right, there's Mandrake, definitely. Awesome split cover there. Not sure who the other guy is. It could be Wotan. I'm not too sure, because I think there was like an older spirit of vengeance who preceded him. It might have been this guy, but I can't remember. And I think in this one as well, it was established that Eclipso. I think Eclipso was like an earlier spirit of vengeance as well. I think Spectre was God's vengeance, God's agent of vengeance. Maybe Eclipso was God's agent of wrath. I can't remember now, or he may have just been an earlier embodiment of the Spectre, but who was like, got his own, broke away from the big guy in the sky and decided to do his own thing. As I said, I was reading Demon Knights just recently, and in it there was actually a black diamond that Lucifer gets one of the characters from the Demon Knights to take out of hell, and it spreads like hate and not necessarily madness, but madness when, kind of, because everyone was hating so much. And I was thinking that must have been a precursor to Eclipso. It must have been Eclipso's black diamond back before it got split into thousands of pieces. Back in the old Eclipso comics. He's quite a good villain, Eclipso. He made for good stories anyway. And I know I've got his run of books somewhere in my collection. That's Kevin O'Neill, isn't it? Definitely Kevin O'Neill, that one. Doesn't say it on there, but I recognise his art. If that's not Kevin O'Neill, I'll eat your hat. Because I don't want to eat my hats, because I like my hats. But I'll eat your hat if I'm wrong, if you insist. But I'm pretty sure that's Kevin O'Neill. Just something about his style I can tell. Okay. Olivetti. Didn't he make all the old word processors back in the day, old Olivetti? Don't know who this guy... Oh, Boland. Oh, right, yeah, okay. That hasn't got his typical look, actually. I've got someone hammering next door, just what I needed. Spectre being ripped to pieces by ravens by the looks of it, or his spectral form is being swum or flown through, rather. Some kind of mad techno spider. Is that Spectre turned into a form of a spider to mete out vengeance against some sinner? Okay. Lots of fawns in that rose. I know every rose has its form, but that's just like overkill, man. Nice. Final night. Spectre is dancing with death there. Various dead things arising from the grave. Alright. Is him channeling his it. Pennywise. Crushing someone in his hand while above him the world goes on as usual. God, my stomach is still blinking, grumbling away. The Haunting of America concludes. What the heck? Say it isn't so. Please tell me the Spectre's not been overtaken by the Joker. That would be a truly terrifying prospect. These guys are in trouble. If you're bringing guns into a Spectre fight, you've got no chance. I'm trying to think last time Spectre had a long run on his own book. This is art by someone called Hawley. I mean, he had the was it Day of Vengeance, when he went a bit mad and tried to get rid of all the magic. But he was more the antagonist than the protagonist in that one, wasn't he? I'm not sure if he's last time he got a nice run of his own book. But so I'm not really up to date with the modern comics anyway. He might have had a 52 run, who knows. There he is as an old school Cyclops. Bit of Greek mythology going on there. I'm not sure if that's where or if it's actually on the comic itself. It's a pretty cool cover. I don't know who it is by though. It's got a very scratchy little signature down there I can't really read. Gravestone for Wrightson there. I don't know if it's a nod towards the famous Bernie. This is from October 97. Of course, somewhere in this run, I'm not sure which number it is the debut of the new, well, not new anymore, but the second hero to call himself Mr. Terrific. It's a pretty cool story. He meets Michael Holt, I believe his name is. Finally got that right. He's like suicidal, thinking about taking his own life. His pregnant wife, I think, was killed in an automobile accident, and he's just feeling, devastated basically, and he thinks there's no point in going on. And the Spectre tells him about his old colleague from the JSA, don't tell me I've forgotten his name now, but the original Mr. Terrific, Terry Sloan, the original Mr. Terrific. And it inspires him to, the sense of fair play that was like Mr. Terrific's kind of watchword. He had it written on the front of his costume, and that inspired Michael Holt to become the new Mr. Terrific. And if you see now, even though he's had a couple of costume changes over the years, but he's still got fair play written. I think it's on both sleeves, or possibly fair on one sleeve and play on the other sleeve. But yeah, cool character. Right, that was the final issue of the Spectre there. I was a bit out by what I said. I said I thought it was about 70 odd, but it was 62 that one went for, 62 issues. Right, now we have a new take on the Creeper that came out from Vertigo. Beware the Creeper, where Creeper is a lady, don't you know? I get a feeling this was like a historical kind of story based like in not revolutionary France, but like I think it was to do with an art movement, like the Renaissance kind of. I think this woman was an artist, or she hung around in artist circles in the Paris cafes and all that kind of thing. And so yeah, I think she's diving off the Eiffel Tower there. But yeah, I get a feeling it was something to do with that kind of thing. It wasn't a bad read. It's quite like that Creeper costume actually. Obviously, I always prefer the original characters just because that's what you grow up on and that's what you know from first of all. But yeah, I thought she was quite an interesting addition to the Creeper catalogue of comics. Right, back to the Spectres again. We've got the Day of Judgment 5-parter. Heaven is threatened by a spectre possessed. Yes. Stomach's rumbling again. Shut up, stomach. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of the Spectre now. Oh, why is that number... there's number 3. It's alright. Don't panic. Purgatory. The original guy who was Spectre, I've bloody forgotten it. It's on the tip of my brain. But this was when Hal Jordan becomes the new Spectre. Oh, it's really bugging me now. I've forgotten the name of the original Spectre. Right, if I don't remember by the end of this, it's normally one that I always bloody remember, but now I'm trying to remember it. It's just refusing to come out of my head. Right, in trying to remember the name of the original Spectre, for some reason John Constantine's that kept popping into my head. I knew it wasn't that because obviously that's Hellblazer, that's John Constantine. But then I remembered the initials are the same, JC. Not Jesus Christ, not John Cleese, but Jim Corrigan. That was the name of the original Spectre. Jim Corrigan. Yeah, I kind of hope he'd come back actually. I don't know, just I said before, like with the Creeper and all characters, I like the originals to stay. I just when the new people do come along, I don't like throw my arms up in the air and chuck my toys out the pram and refuse to ever buy the book again and go online and say social justice warriors are killing my comics or anything like that. I just get on with it, just carry on reading it, and normally I enjoy them anyway. They're still cool characters, and it's like you've got new stories with new people, a new person behind the hero. But yeah, I prefer to stick with what I know and love. But I don't lose my excrement if characters do get changed over. I just prefer them to stay as they are. So I mean, I'd hope in the not that I'm reading the new modern ones anyway, but you know, if I was to, it'd be nice for Jim Corrigan to be back, because Hal Jordan's already Spectre again, and obviously don't want to get rid of the new, well, as far as I know, current Spectre, old Crispus Allen. He could go back to being alive. That would be cool. He could go back to being alive, partnered by Rennie Montoya, because Vic Sage is alive and well again, and you know, asking questions. Yeah, but I definitely am a conservative fuddy-duddy when it comes to my characters. I prefer them to stay the same person, but you know, but I don't go crazy wild and start crying if a character gets changed. I mean, in fact, I just carry on collecting them, like Blue Beetle. I killed off my Blue Beetle, and then we had Jaime Reyes, and I think I collected every single run of his book simply because, you know, he's a good kid anyway. He's a good character in his own right. I mean, ideally, with those characters who've been taken over, like Firestorm, Jason Rush. I can never pronounce his name. He's got like an A in it. So it's like Rush, but it's like, I don't know. It's like Roush, maybe. I'm not too sure. Is it Jason Roush? I think it is. He obviously took over from Ronnie Raymond, Firestorm, and I think in the later book there was both of them. In fact, they became a Firestorm Matrix together, and I was all for that, of course. Martin Steen's still got to be in there somewhere though, the other half of the original Matrix, just to appease my hatred of change kind of mind point. And obviously Blue Beetle, I'd like to see Ted Kord, you know, kicking ass as a non-powered Blue Beetle, whilst, you know, he's like at the moment, I think in a more current Blue Beetle, he is alive again. He's acting as if he's an ex-hero, and he's like a mentor for young Jaime Reyes. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, and that's quite cool. But I'd like to still see him, you know, in the blue suit himself, riding his bug, using his BB gun, fighting crime. But you know, have Jaime, you know, in there as well. So in summary, I prefer the old. I don't mind the new, but I'd rather than not kill off the new to bring back the old. I'd rather have both then. If you create the new one, same with Atom when they had Ryan Choi, I think his name was. He was cool. I read the whole run of that. I'd rather it had been Ray Palmer, because Ray Palmer was the guy that I grew up with, and you know, always knew to be the Atom. But you know, it didn't faze me too much that they decided to bring in a new guy for it. These ones I'm showing you in case you didn't figure it out, because I'm too busy talking nonsense. The Spectre run where Hal Jordan, obviously after he became Parallax, after Coast City was destroyed, he went mad, took all the power of the Green Lanterns to himself. He was possessed by Parallax, which was like the spirit that was I think it was the spirit of fear, the avatar of fear that had been trapped. They made it trapped. It represented the yellow power of the emotional spectrum of fear, and yeah, it possessed him, made him do crazy things, made him become an enemy, wanted to change time, go back and make Coast City live again. Redemption Spectre, redeem this. Looks like he's in hell there. Where was I going with what I was talking about? Oh yeah, and then yeah, he sacrificed himself in Final Night to re-spark the sun that was threatening to go out. And yeah, and then when he got to hell, or the afterlife rather, they decided he wasn't fit for hell because he'd done so many good things during his life. Even in his last act was to save lives. But it also killed people when he was possessed by Parallax. So they decided, you know, you're not fit for either. We could put you in purgatory, or there happens to be a vacancy. Why don't you become the new Spectre? And that is what he did. And then eventually, I think he'd served his time. Maybe, I'm not sure I can't remember now how he came back to life, but he did. Came back to being Green Lantern, and he came back to life around about the same time that this poor chap, Crispus Allen, was being killed. I think in my last video I showed you the book that he was on. Was it Gotham Central? I think he dies right at the end of Gotham Central, and then shortly after he comes back as the Spectre. He was, you know, because the original Jim Corrigan, he was a copper as well, and he was a Gotham. a Gotham City detective who was killed, and same thing for this Spectre, old Crispus Allen. So that's it. That is the whole of that box. Yay! Quite not too bad. Whittled on probably more than I needed to, but you know, that's what I do. I could just do it in silence, but I don't think there'd be much point in doing that, to be honest. Anyway, I'll be back again Friday with looking at some of my birthday books, and make sure you, I don't know, tune in every day, because I'm always putting stuff up. yeah, come back next Wednesday for some more Counting Comics, and I'm going to tag a couple of guys in this video. If you're not friends with them already or subbing to them already, then do so if you like your comic stuff. So I'm going to do Comic Geek McD, one of my British brethren of comic collectors, and the other one, Daz the Key Chaser, because you know, he has the news, man. He has his finger on the button. He has his you know, his fingers on the pulse of the comic community news, something like that. He's a news guy, basically. He'll tell you about hot books and TV tie-ins and film tie-ins, all the gossip, basically. So yeah, make sure you like both those channels, because they're both cool chaps. Cheers for watching. Bye. Well, this is annoying. When I went to back into the box, I realised that a packet of comics had fallen over and I'd missed it out. And I didn't even notice it when I was going through them, but I missed a few of these Spectres from this run. So we've got another Spectre there, Year 1 annual from 1995. Another cool cover there of the Spectre. So, oh, Martin Eaman. I was trying to see. It looks like he's the chain connecting the skulls of on his lapels that's holding his cloak on. Spell out the name of the artist, Martin Eamond. Yeah, I think I recall that guy. I think he did some work on UK comics. I think he did some work on a character called Accident Man. I could be wrong though. Right, here's a Beasley cover, Simon Beasley. There we go. So there's a couple that were missing out of that. In case you spotted the fact that there was a few Spectres missing from that little run, yeah, there they are. Cheers for watching.